Hey cutie foodies, it's the one and only Sweet Pea here, and today we have a little dinner situation going on. So I have these large behind cucumber slices, and yes, this is a cucumber. I bought the largest ones that they had at the supermarket just because, and this is only a half of one. I have some boiled eggs, I have some chicken, some rice and corn, a little bit of shrimp here, some potatoes, and I have some salmon, and then I have my dipping sauce from the other day, and I added some mild and hot banana peppers with it. And then we also have this habanero sauce by Tabasco, and I have some water on the side. Today we're going to be talking about two creepy ass dudes in our 31 days of Halloween. As you can see on this side, you see I had to write down some notes because these jokers were literally no joke. Like, they were complete assholes with everything they had going on. Just trying to get comfortable here. And, you know, they were just sick and twisted, and I'm glad that they're old and they're caught. And before we get fully into the story, I'm gonna start to eat some stuff because I really haven't had anything all day. This time I left the skin on my cucumber, but yeah, let's eat. Yeah, I know I got my spoon right here because the season, this thing is big. Cold. I do not feel life of me. It's like eating rice with a fork. Let's get some of these peppers. Oh, that's a good bite. Dip my chicken in here too. It's a little overcooked, but that's my fault. I'm trying to heat it up and putting it in the oven. But ain't nothing wrong with something that's done. Holla! By the way, while you're watching me eat this, like and subscribe. Comment down below. I don't care if you say first. I don't care if you say hi. Just comment. You can even say 31 days of Halloween. Make sure when you subscribe, you turn on the notification bells so you don't miss out on a video. For the month of October, I'm gonna try to upload a video. Let me get a flat piece every day for this month. Hence the 31 days of Halloween. Try to get a bite of everything. Hopefully this time I'll be able to, if not finish, I damn sure I ain't gonna be eating all that. We can get halfway through our dinner tonight. Bust open this potato. These Toolbox Killers is what they call them. We'll just start right in with the story. One name is Roy Norris. He's the younger of the duo. And then the other is, what the hell is his name? Bit Taker is his last name. His first name are important. Neither one of their first names is important because of the heinous crimes they committed. Now, we always joke around about never get close to anyone in a cargo van. That's the serial killer van. And in this case, it really is. You know those well, we usually call it the people that like kitties, those type of vans. But that's basically what they use. Get a piece, get a shot, eat this plain. That's basically what they use to apprehend their victims. I hate using that word, but find me a better word for victim. I need some sweet corn underneath. A piece of salmon with some pepper and a potato. I'm gonna just use my fingers, y'all. But oh, this is on my phone. Dropping stuff. Let's dip this as well. That was a good bite. I don't really like potato skin, so don't at me. Don't come for me, okay? I'm just trying to lay it flat that way. These psychotic killers obtained, let me taste it. Well, damn. And I hope I don't have an allergic reaction to this because, oh, good God, that's hot. Oh, Lord. Oh no. They obtained a passenger van in February of 1979. A cargo van. I'm sorry. No windows in the back. They spruced it up so we had a bed in the back. That one sliding door. You know, the worker van. Like immediately, I need a piece of cucumber. That shit is hot. They immediately after they purchased this van, started scoping out and figuring out ways on how to apprehend their victims, to get them to come with them so that they can ultimately beat and torture, rape, and kill them and dump their bodies, which is very unfortunate. Most of their victims are teenagers. They went on a 5-month killing spree and killed 5 young women. It was cool. My mouth down. Good God, cause this right here, this habanero sauce. Don't ask me to do no 5 times or 2 time challenge. You're gonna get punched in your face. But let me take you back a little bit. Corn good. Both Norris and Bit Taker were seasoned and lifelong criminals before they met in their own right. They both had shitty childhoods. Bit Taker, his parents didn't want children, so they got pregnant with him, put him up for adoption. As he started becoming of age, he started delving into petty crime. Started stealing here and there, got involved with the juvenile justice system, got out, stole some more, did this, did that, until the point where his adoptive parents were like, you know, basically, to hell with you. The last time he ended up in the system, he had to stay until he turned 18. And upon his release, he found out that his parents had disowned him and moved away. And so, he continued to commit crime and be in and out of jail. Norris, he grew up with his parents. His mother was a drug addict. His father worked long hours. Sometimes he ended up in foster care. Other times he was with other family members. One day at the age of 16, basically his parents told him and his sister that they were mistakes. They didn't want children. And by the time they turned 18, they had to get the fuck out. When he learned about this, he ran away. I was doing some more stupid shit. But ultimately, the cops brought him back home. During all this time, he was a rapist. He would stalk young women, rape them, and subsequently, he would be in and out of prison as well. His last stint in prison is where, before this case, Egg. Is where he met Bit Taker. They were in prison together at one point, and they like to talk about how, you know, they had dreams of misogyny and sexual assault against women, and, you know, they wanted to murder them, and you can imagine what these sick, twisted bastards were thinking. Mind you, before any of this took place, Norris was a shitbag that entered into the Navy while he was a Navy man or naval officer, however you want to say it. He was committing rapes. And between him being in prison, he was also admitted into hospitals to treat a mental illness. Now, does this excuse him of committing these crimes? Hell no. Mm. He might have been crazy, but there's always help for that. But he still chose to stalk his victims and to rape them. Okay? So, now they've met. They spent time in prison getting acquainted with each other and made a promise to each other that once they got out, they would become friends. You know, stay friends, get in touch with each other. So, Bit Taker was released first. He actually got a good job. I was paying him $1,000 a week. Even though he had been in and out of jail, he was a petty criminal. And no real violent crimes. And he was basically, from what his neighbors were saying, was a pillar of the community. I'm going to try this again, just a little bit. Damn. And, maybe I should have shook it up. Ooh, that shit smell hot. Anyway. Just an all-around good guy is, you know, what they said for him to be. Right? And then, 3 months later, Norris gets out. So, they hook up. They start discussing their plan. They get the vehicle. And in the meantime, after they get the vehicle, they're scouting for girls, right? And the case unfolded, or how they were apprehended, was because, just like most criminals, Norris couldn't keep his mouth shut, and he had to confide in somebody, and that somebody was Joseph Jackson. No, not Joe Jackson from the Jackson 5. Joseph Jackson, of whom he was in a California prison with. And he told him during this trial run period, before they actually started abducting and killing the women, the young women, they had actually abducted 3 other young women as a trial run, but apparently they, you know, got away some way, somehow. Fortunately for them, they were able to get away and not, you know, end up like the latter women in this case. Hard potato. I don't want that. Okay. So, as I said, they killed 5 women. They would beat them about the head with a sledgehammer, because remember, they're called the Toolbox Killers. And they had tools in their cargo van that they used to apprehend and kill their victims. They had this little game where they would stalk someone on the road. They would drive up a little park. Norris would get out and talk to Bit Taker. And when the girl approached and tried to walk past, they would grab them, throw them in a van. Norris would jump in the van after them, and they would drive off. Sometimes he would actually be hiding in the van if they picked up a hitchhiker. 4 of their victims actually were hitchhikers, and it was a little bit easier to pull them in. Their first victim, They tried to lure her in with a ride home and some marijuana, but she didn't want no parts, which good for you. My mouth ain't hot. I just keep coming good. I don't like the skin on this either. So their MO was to get them in the van. They bound them by their hands and their feet. And they would essentially muzzle them so they couldn't make a sound. Well, gag them rather. At most points, they would take turns, either one being the one to strangle them with a wire coat hanger, and the other one beating them about the head. They said 2 of the women actually had ice picks found in their ears, which was another item, a part of their toolbox. And the last victim, let me double check my notes right here, was Shirley Ledford. And she was their last victim. She was actually hitchhiking home from a Halloween party. Her murder took place October 31st, 1979. And this is when everything is about to unfold. Norris couldn't keep his damn mouth shut and confided in Joseph Jackson, who ultimately went to an attorney. And the attorney and Joseph Jackson went to the Redondo Beach police. They actually had record of a previous girl that they tried to murder, and she was one of the 3 that had been able to escape apprehension. But unfortunately for her, she was unable to identify them in a lineup. Oh, good Lord, I'm giving myself a bath. But because Joseph Jackson and his attorney had went to the police, they ultimately put them under 24-hour surveillance. And saw that Norris was actually dealing marijuana, so they picked him up on that, on the drug charge, and then arrested Big Taker. And he actually had drugs on his person when they arrested him, so they charged him for that. After they arrested them, they went and hopefully got warrants. But they went and excuse me, searched both of their homes. Not only, and this is between the 2, not only did they find a sledgehammer, not only did they find voice recordings of women in distress, screams, crying for help. They found Polaroid pictures of these women in compromising positions and being sexually assaulted, jewelry from different women that they had abducted and raped and murdered. And I believe one of them also had a diary written about what they had done, which was Bit Taker. And so not only did was Norris unable to keep his mouth shut about what happened, he tried to deny it, but the Redondo police and detective, I believe his name was Paul Bynum, came to him with evidence he could not refute. And so he was charged with 1 count of second-degree murder, 4 counts of first-degree murder, rape, and he took a plea deal and testified against Bit Taker, which left him in prison for life with the possibility of parole after 30 years. But thankfully, our justice system does work sometimes, and he is an old man in a California prison as we speak. Bit Taker, however, he refused everything, denied. And he was charged with 29 offenses, including rape, murder, sodomy, conspiracy, because he tried to have the young lady that got away that was going to identify them, but she couldn't. He tried to have her murdered by 2 inmates that were getting out of prison, but they refused to do it. And he was stupid because the prosecutors dropped her from the case anyway because she couldn't identify them. So she was of no use to them. Also, the mother of the first young lady that they murdered, she was able to pinpoint and recognize her daughter's voice on the voice recordings that Bit Taker had in his home. So that nailed his ass to the grass as well. And he received the death penalty. They have not upheld it yet. He has done a couple of appeals and had a few stays of execution. But as of 2019, he is still on death row. So he won't see the light of day. Neither one of them will see the light of day. They're both in their 70s at this point. So, you know, I don't want to say it, but, you know, you're 70s later on in life, one of them approaching 80. So, you know, and you tried to blame each other while they were in prison. Bit Taker doing all these damn interviews. He tried to say how he wanted to confess, and it's like, bullshit, you probably wanted to just continue. Norris tried to say that he only went along with it because he was scared of Bit Taker, when in all actuality, Bit Taker was not the one who initially had these type of molestation charges against him. It was you. So, you guys, I believe they came up with the plan together. I don't want to hear none of that shit about I was scared of this one, I was going to confess about this, I felt bad about that. Because if you had any type of conscience at all, you wouldn't have taken these young ladies away from their families. Point blank, period. You wouldn't have abducted them. You wouldn't have raped them or any of that. So, I don't feel sorry for them. I just don't understand why, you know, people do stupid shit like this. Have you ever heard about the Toolbox Killers? If you have, let me know. If I missed anything out, leave it down below. Or you can fill me in on the rest. But as far as I'm concerned, that's the end of this video for today. I will catch you guys in the next one. As I said before, don't forget to like and subscribe and leave me a comment down below. Hit that notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. Kobe is sniffing at my door. He wants my food, but he ain't getting none. I gotta go to bed. It's 6:50. Yeah, 6:54. Take me a shower, go to bed, watch some TV, some YouTube or something. Peace.